RESPA rule requires settlement agents to explain the terms of a mortgage at closing. It seems to me that the lender is in the best position to explain these terms, not the settlement agent. Do you anticipate that settlement agents will be able to answer most mortgage-related questions at closing?
We believe that they would. It's merely taking the information that we believe would be transmitted with closing instructions from the lender to the settlement agent and going over the documents. Many settlement agents go over these documents today. I've been luckily in all my closings to have that done.
Does that mean that HUD is putting the settlement agent in a position of speaking for the lender?
We are only asking that just as the information about the other loans and charges are transmitted from the lender to the title agent or closing agent to prepare the HUD-1, then this information would be transmitted to the disclosures that would of the script to be read to the borrower.
If an agent try to explain the mortgage and answering questions that should be answered by the lender, doesn't that put an agent in a position of providing unauthorized practice of law under many state laws?
Well, we have heard that there is some concern out about that in different states, and that would certainly be something we would be looking at in the final rule, and to what would be appropriate for the closing agent to communicate to the borrower.
So you are telling us that you are revisiting that issue?
Well, we would certainly be looking at it, and we do wonder. This is, of course, a proposed rule. Anything is open to comment or other ideas, certainly.
I know HUD intended for the longer good faith estimate format to provide more transparency to consumers. However, in some respects, the form decreases transparency. Unlike the existing format, the new GFE fails to itemize the fees. Why did you or why did HUD reduce this level of detail in the new GFE?
We are trying to stop the proliferation of fees. I have had title agents or lenders call and say they've run out of lines on the HUD-1 and the GFE. They had so many different types of fees that they were charging the borrower. And it's difficult to compare what is one lender calls an admin fee and another calls a processing fee. Even in negotiating on your loan cost, you may find you get one of the charges, the processing fee, off, only to find at closing there's an admin fee for approximately the same amount of money. So we have tried to compress cost categories.
Ms. Jackson, I understand all that. I have the two forms here, the old format and the new one. This one is 4 pages. This one has all the items. It itemizes all the fees. So the borrower is able to look at it and see what he's paying for at closing. This one, I think, is much easier for someone to hide some of the fees. Don't you think?
Well, in the good faith estimate stage, we are trying to get the borrower to concentrate more on the bottom line of what his costs are going to be and the loan terms. Now, it is true that we have compressed certain categories on page 2 of the GFE. And, of course, that is also open to comment. If there are specific items that others believe that should be required to be itemized, we will certainly take that into consideration.
Okay. Ms. Jackson, the RESPA rules requires settlement agents to determine whether certain charges estimated on the GFE exceed a 10% tolerance at closing. I know some members of the real estate industry are concerned that the rules does not give them enough guidance on what to do if a tolerance is exceeded. Can you clarify to us what a settlement agent is supposed to do if the tolerance is exceeded?
We would just expect the settlement agent to highlight that to the borrower. If it is a refinance transaction and the borrower has the ability to rescind the transaction, if
But you understand the concern
Yes.
from some of the people in the real estate that you do not provide enough guidance?
well, that would certainly, we would certainly take that into consideration in going forward.
Let me ask you, if a settlement agent is supposed to stop a sale when the tolerance is exceeded by a mere $10 or $20?
No, that was not our intention. It was only to highlight to the borrower. And also, because we intend to ask Congress to give us the authority to require that the HUD-1 be given to the borrower 3 days in advance, then we believe that the borrower would then have enough time to compare the GFE and HUD-1 and contact the lender and make a determination if there was a mistake, or it would be the borrower's choice then what they would like to do with that.
Okay. Mr. Chabot alluded in his opening statement to the fact of the regulatory flexibility analysis HUD conducted for the RESPA rule, which was extensive. However, some firms in the real estate industry are concerned that it underestimated the economic effect on them. And given the fact that when the regulatory flexibility analysis was conducted, the economic climate was totally different from what we are in today. So what kind of outreach did you conduct with the small business community to determine the economic impact of the rule?
Well, we did hold the roundtables. That was, back in 2005. We have been, listening, talking to people. We have, during this comment period, we've offered to meet with any group or individual that would like to come in and talk with us about it. Mm-hmm. We will be also going back to make sure at the time of the final rule, if there has been any changes in our figures, that we would be updating that at that time.
Let me ask you, can you give us any example of where HUD made changes to the rule based on feedback from small businesses?
Well, packaging is no longer a part of this rule. It was, we certainly heard about that in the proposed rule in 2002, and as you know, it was, the former rule was withdrawn in 2004, and that's been part of this whole reform process.
Is that one example, or do you have more examples?
I would think that that's probably the, major example.
I have other questions. I will come back to you.